In the worst scenario that can possibly unfold when the hidden Smurf village is finally discovered, a faceless figure manages to locate Smurf village and directly captures Papa Smurf in front of every single Smurf. And the last words that Papa Smurf is able to offer to his people are an urgent plea that they must go search for Ken, while the story itself rewinds far back into the earliest dawn of existence, when the universe rests in a perfect state of balance sustained only by 4 enchanted books of magic. Yet the intergalactic evil wizard alliance silently seizes them and spreads shadows across the entire cosmos, though in the middle of this conquest one of the 4 books finds a rare chance to slip away unseen. And this runaway book known as Jaunty is then rescued and hidden by a powerful squad of blue guardians whose mission is nothing less than protecting the destiny of all life in the universe, until it eventually reaches a secret refuge untouched by any outsiders known as the Smurf Village. A home where an extremely friendly blue race spends their days singing joyfully and preparing for a lively opening musical performance. And as soon as the song comes to an end, Papa Smurf praises the others warmly for doing so well. Yet happiness almost immediately yields to the quiet confession of no-name Smurf, who admits he feels lost because he cannot discover a true identity of his own. All his attempts to try different roles have ended in failure, and he struggles to accept this empty title when deep inside he still does not even know who he really is. Papa Smurf comforts him, gently explaining that sometimes a few Smurfs simply need more time than others to discover themselves. And so no-name Smurf begins to think that since no one in the village has ever mastered magic, perhaps he should become Magic Smurf. But Papa Smurf responds firmly that Smurfs are not able to use magic at all. Afterwards, Smurfette invites no-name Smurf to pick berries together, and she shares her feelings, saying she understands his struggle because she herself is the only Smurf who was created from clay and dark magic by their enemy Gargamel. But through the love of Papa Smurf and the entire village, she eventually finds a reason to exist. Her story gives no-name Smurf a spark of hope, though the doubt in his heart does not vanish. While continuing his search for meaning in life, he wishes aloud for something he can truly call his own. And by coincidence, Jaunty, who is hiding nearby from the intergalactic evil wizard alliance, hears this wish. In the very next moment, a mysterious wave of energy bursts from no-name Smurf, and he is stunned to realize that he can actually wield magic, a power long believed impossible for any Smurf. So he becomes excited and wants to show everyone right away, unaware that his new ability is about to place the entire village in unprecedented danger. Meanwhile, assistant Joel, who is resting, suddenly detects a strange magical signal and quickly alerts his master that he has located the Smurf village. And when he also wants to inform his master's brother Gargamel, he is immediately stopped because Rosamel believes Gargamel has achieved nothing for centuries and therefore insists on acting alone. At the same time, no-name Smurf's magic is already causing trouble as a black portal suddenly appears and pulls Papa Smurf inside. And before disappearing, he cries out that the lives of the Smurfs are now in grave danger. The village is no longer safe and they must hurry to find Ken after Papa Smurf is swallowed into the darkness. Panic overwhelms the Smurfs, who do not know what step to take next, until Brainy Smurf tries to calm them and declares that only one being might manage this task, none other than Gargamel himself. Hearing this, Smurfette urges no-name Smurf to use his magic to summon Gargamel here, and at that very moment Gargamel and his cat Azrael are still plotting how to find the village, never expecting their wish to be answered so suddenly when they appear right where they want to be. Gargamel immediately lunges to seize the Smurf in front of him, but the others behind have already prepared a plan to capture him, and when they demand to know where he has taken Papa Smurf, he retorts that if he already caught Papa Smurf, then why would he even need to come here? Right then, clumsy Smurf arrives carrying a record disc, which reveals the method Papa Smurf has left behind to find Ken. So the Smurfs only have to play it and rewind. From the music player, a glowing portal opens and pulls them into a brand new journey. Dragged through many strange dimensions, they finally land in the radiant capital of light, which is modern Paris. And now before their eyes stands the famous Eiffel Tower, but they do not forget that their true mission is to find Ken and rescue Papa Smurf. Meanwhile, the intergalactic evil wizard alliance is angrily blaming Rosamel for endless failures across centuries. And just as they are about to dismiss him, he insists that this time progress has been made because he has already captured Papa Smurf. The meeting grows increasingly tense until assistant Joel suddenly appears and announces to Rosamel that besides Papa Smurf, he has discovered another living presence. And just as Rosamel believes he has finally tracked down Jaunty, his brother Gargamel and the cat Azrael make an unexpected entrance. In contrast to the eager and almost triumphant expression of Gargamel, Rosamel shows nothing but indifference, and at the very same moment the Smurfs are stumbling into all kinds of trouble on the unfamiliar land, where first they are chased by dogs and then they are trapped in the chaos of traffic. And just when danger seems about to swallow them whole, a group of ninja Smurfs suddenly appears. They do not waste time speaking but move swiftly to rescue the Smurfs in the very last second. And this group of Smurfs quickly drops the Smurfs down into the underground sewers to ensure their safety, where their leader Moxie Smurf introduces herself as a member of the International Patrol and specifically the Paris Division. When the friendly Smurfs explain that Papa Smurf has been kidnapped and before vanishing he urged them to seek Ken, Moxie Smurf immediately grasps the weight of the situation and guides them to where they need to go. The Smurfs must then slip through a party and a crowded bar in order to meet Ken. And the moment Ken lays eyes on them, he instantly realizes Papa Smurf is in trouble, revealing that he himself is the younger brother of Papa Smurf and a descendant of the Guardian who once protected the 4 magical books. He explains that he and Papa Smurf have already prepared a plan for the worst scenario, but his nature is the complete opposite of his brother because he is fiercely combative, and when Smurfette asks him to lead the Smurfs together, he tells her she is too naive. The enemy can be anywhere and they must always be ready to fight. Not only that, but Ken also unveils the truth that the Smurfs are in fact the descendants of mighty protectors who swore an oath to guard the 4 magical books from the intergalactic evil wizard alliance, an oath that Papa Smurf abandoned. Ken then leads the Smurfs on a mission to find Rosamel in order to rescue Papa Smurf, but since they have forgotten to bring the record disc, they cannot open a portal. So Smurfette insists that no-name Smurf should use his magic, and just like Papa Smurf before, Ken has never heard of any Smurf being able to wield magic. In the very next second, he is utterly astonished as no-name Smurf successfully opens a gateway. Although a brand new beginning filled with hardship lies ahead, it does not stop the Smurfs from continuing their journey. Meanwhile, Gargamel and Rosamel are locked in endless quarrels because Rosamel has ignored his brother's concerns for countless years, and unwilling to waste more words, Rosamel turns to interrogating Papa Smurf about Jaunty, deliberately provoking him by mentioning Ron Smurf. And at this moment, Assistant Joel unexpectedly receives an alert that a portal has opened right in front of Rosamel's castle, though the fortress's barrier force diverts the Smurfs off their intended course. On the other side, once the Smurfs pass through the gateway, they fall into a strange transit zone that connects different dimensions and is set amidst the dry deserts of Australia, where Ken quickly senses the danger since in this bizarre place, there are creatures called snooterputs, notorious for deceiving travelers in order to steal cakes. Ken hatches a reckless plan in which one Smurf must deliver a piece of cake beneath a rock because he himself does not want to risk losing an arm. Recognizing that all of this is his fault, no-name Smurf volunteers to take the task. So as soon as he steps into position, the snooterputs appear to seize the cake, and when the others rush forward to help, they are dragged into the ground and soon find themselves landing beneath the bodies of the snooterputs. Ken warns the Smurfs to guard their belongings carefully or else they will be pickpocketed without even noticing, after which the Smurfs are led to the leader of the snooterputs, and the moment she finishes eating the cake, she realizes Ken has returned. Emotions long buried surge forth as Mamaput reproaches Ken for leaving without a single farewell while he desperately tries to explain. But in the end, she insists that actions hold the true value and silently accepts reconciliation by taking the cakes as a symbol of restored kinship. Mamaput reveals that interstellar transport is thriving more than ever due to rising demand, and when Ken asks her for help in this mission, she demands a steep price. So Ken has no choice but to hand over his grandfather's heirloom watch in exchange for a ride. But when she hears that the destination is Rosamel's castle, she refuses outright, returns the watch, and even gives him another one as a way of driving him away. Smurfette quickly asks what exactly is in that place. Mamaput describes how Rosamel's fortress is a land of no return, its walls built from the bones of those who once tried. And as the tension deepens, she adds more about the intergalactic evil wizard alliance, whose single goal is to dominate the world through evil and erase every trace of goodness from the universe. After hearing Mamaput's chilling warning, no-name Smurf loses his courage and decides to run, overwhelmed by doubt in his own abilities, and Smurfette must chase after him to offer comfort, encouraging him that true worth lies in the choices one makes and not in the negative voices whispering in the mind. And her story reignites no-name Smurf's faith with a message about rising above adversity and believing in himself. Smurfette and no-name Smurf return to the village of the snooterputs, and what they learn upon arriving is that Cayman has already attacked this place and carried away both the Smurfs and the snooterputs. Mamaput turns to Smurfette and No Name Smurf, asking them if they still want to strike the villain in the face, and without hesitation both of them answer that they do. So Mamaput leads them to her vehicle, which is known as the Screaming Beetle because its main fuel is the fear of its passengers. The louder the screams are, the more powerful it becomes. While this is happening, Razamel and his assistant Joel return to the castle with their spoils, which include the captured Smurfs and the Snooterputs. Although worried for his people, Papa Smurf remains resolute and refuses to reveal the secret of the final book. Razamel, amused by his stubbornness, decides to play for time, which means each refusal means that a random Smurf will be crushed. After Razamel and Joel leave the chamber, Papa Smurf and Ken fall into a heated argument as Papa insists that the book is still safe and demands to know why Ken brought the Smurfs into danger. Ken responds by calling him a coward for hiding in the village all this time, and even blames that same cowardice as the reason why Ron Smurf has disappeared. Meanwhile, Mamaput, Smurfette, and No Name Smurf reach the castle of Razamel. They begin discussing plans of infiltration, yet idea after idea is dismissed, until they discover the flaw in Razamel's vanity, since he is notorious for gluttony, ordering fast food from across the universe, while at the same time complaining about his massive frame. This leads to a bold plan in which Mamaput, Smurfette, and No Name Smurf will sneak into the castle by hiding inside a food delivery bag. Their goal is to create a surprise attack and rescue their allies. Elsewhere, Gargamel happens upon the ancient quill of his ancestors, only for Azrael to snap it with a careless bite. In that very moment, Razamel appears, frightening Gargamel as he announces that he is close to uncovering Jaunty, which will allow the Intergalactic Evil Wizard Alliance to dominate the world. Gargamel begs to be introduced to the Intergalactic Evil Wizard Alliance in hope of a new destiny, but Razamel already nurtures treachery against his brother without him realizing. At the same time, Mamaput, Smurfette, and No Name Smurf are delivered straight into the castle, but Smurfette, too nervous, consumes all the fries, sparking a quarrel over the lack of food, and in desperation, No Name Smurf accidentally summons onion rings, which turn out to be Razamel's favorite dish, before they are crushed inside the delivery bag. Mamaput, Smurfette, and No Name Smurf tear it apart and escape in the nick of time. Razamel then begins his interrogation to locate the last book. But despite the dire situation, the tiny Smurfs hold firm in spirit, resisting the darkness. At the very moment when despair thickens, Mamaput, Smurfette, and No Name Smurf burst through the doors in a blaze of light. No Name Smurf, wielding newfound magical strength, stands ready to fight, but he soon realizes that this power flows from Jaunty, the very book Razamel has hunted for ages, and its sudden appearance comes only because it suffers an allergy to Azrael's fur. Ken immediately turns to accuse Papa Smurf of failing in his duty, and No Name Smurf himself feels crushed when he understands that everything he thought was his own, including even his moonwalk dance, actually belongs to Jaunty, leaving him with nothing to call his own. While No Name Smurf sinks into disillusionment, Razamel exults in triumph, for he has finally grasped Jaunty, and he further reveals that Smurfette descends from a bloodline of witches. Memories of childhood filled with fries shake her faith, but after a moment of hesitation, she rejects the murky past and declares her choice to remain with the Smurfs. Razamel mocks her, saying she has already fulfilled her role of leading the Smurfs exactly where he wanted them, yet she still resists cutting the false bond of heritage. Nevertheless, Razamel already has what he desires, so he discards her and corrupts Jaunty, turning it into its evil form, while also unmasking his deceit to Gargamel, who had believed in his brother's promise. Once Razamel departs, Joel activates a machine to crush the Smurfs, but in that instant Gargamel intervenes, which surprises all. Although he has always hated the Smurfs, he detests his brother's betrayal even more, and thus he releases the captives and even enchants Azrael with wings. Seeing Ken so furious in battle, Papa Smurf has no choice but to rush in and hold him back. After Gargamel and the Smurfs escape from the castle, the sorcery he casts loses its hold and Azrael soon returns to his original form. Smurfette blames herself again and again because she feels she has dragged everyone into danger. But No Name Smurf takes the fault onto himself, saying that it is his restless longing to discover the meaning of life that has given rise to this chain of troubles. Papa Smurf also speaks with sorrow, saying that he has failed in his duty as a father, and that he never wishes to repeat the mistake he once made with Ron Smurf. When the others ask who Ron is, it is only now that Papa Smurf and Ken reveal the truth about Ron Smurf, who is the legendary warrior Smurf that once sacrificed himself in an ancient battle. and who is remembered as the one that lives fully for friendship, who dares to give his very life to protect all that is beautiful. Memories of Ron Smurf pour back and stir deep emotions in both Papa Smurf and Ken as a scene of remembrance unfolds to show the glorious days when he faces countless dark forces. Yet in a single moment of carelessness, the three of them are ambushed by Razamel. The advantage allows him to drive Ron Smurf to leap into the abyss in order to save Jaunty. The sacrifice of Ron Smurf becomes a torch that lights the path and is forever engraved in the hearts of his comrades as a sign of eternal faith, friendship, and loyalty. In order to protect the Smurfs and Jaunty, Papa Smurf creates the Smurf village, and from then on the mission of the Smurfs is to guard all that is good. Even those Smurfs who have not yet found a name of their own can take this role. The stirring words of Papa Smurf fill the hearts of the Smurfs with a spirit more uplifting than ever before. Gargamel too seeks an alliance with the Smurfs in order to bring down his younger brother, for he believes that the enemy of his enemy is his friend. He wishes to see Razamel's face when he realizes that the Smurfs are still alive. Razamel meanwhile gathers with the intergalactic evil wizard alliance, yet when he perceives their disdain he eliminates them without mercy. He then turns to the 4 books and begins the ritual to bind them together to forge a new source of dark power, unaware that the Smurfs are on their way. Yet it is too late, since with a mere snap of his fingers Razamel can erase the Smurfs. When he sees the traitor before him, he destroys him, and then comes the turn of Smurfette and No Name Smurf. But Papa Smurf bravely throws himself forward and sacrifices his body to shield them. In the midst of peril, Smurfette pretends to yield, declaring that she has fulfilled her destiny as a witch by bringing the Smurfs to Razamel and offering herself as a pawn. And the moment he grows careless, she seizes Jaunty back. Smurfette, No Name Smurf, and Jaunty find no escape and are forced to gamble everything by leaping into a chasm within another dimension where none have ever returned. Soon they set foot in the universe of clay. Then the most dreadful universe built of crayons. Then the third universe of video games with ancient graphics, and finally they discover an anime universe where Smurfette and No Name Smurf rise to fight Razamel. When the dust clears, the three return to the Smurf village and rush to find Papa Smurf, who praises them. But in the end, Smurfette and No Name Smurf realize with horror that everything is but an illusion woven by Razamel to seize Jaunty. Razamel completes the ritual that drains all goodness from the universe, but Smurfette and No Name Smurf refuse to yield. As they step forward to oppose him, he asks No Name Smurf who he truly is, and the question pierces his heart, leaving him frozen in doubt and struck down unconscious. He drifts into memories of the words of encouragement given by the Smurfs, and these emotions awaken the hidden strength that lies dormant within him. When he rises after the blow, Razamel hurls more spells. The power radiating from No Name Smurf equals that of the Dark Book itself, and Razamel trembles. Beside him there are other Smurfs willing to fight shoulder to shoulder with him, something Razamel can never possess, and this bond becomes the key to ending the battle between good and evil. Now Razamel is no more than a fish on the chopping block, while No Name Smurf faces him without fear. In his desperation, Razamel orders Smurfette to serve him, yet he holds no power over her since Smurfette alone decides who she is. The Smurfs then join hands to summon back the goodness of the universe, and at last good triumphs over evil. The Smurfs see that No Name Smurf has changed, and they grant him a new name, Magic Smurf. The dream world of Razamel collapses, and Magic Smurf swiftly casts him out of this universe so that future calamity may be averted. When all seems to close, a miracle occurs, for the hero Ron Smurf, thought to be lost, returns. He reveals that he has been trapped in the 10th dimension for over a century. Though for Papa Smurf and Ken it feels as if it happened only yesterday. The Smurf village then holds a great celebration, for they have defeated evil and gained new friends. Papa Smurf solemnly declares that from this day forward they shall no longer hide, but will rise to defend the world whenever the need arises.